hood gon' be? I don't need no plug on this beat.
Hey guys, it's Shanice. Welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome if you're new. If you're new, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I recently came back from St. Thomas about a month ago, so this video is long overdue, but I recently dropped the St. Thomas vlog, so if you haven't checked that out already, go check it out. The vibes, the music, the editing within that video is A1. But with this video, I wanted to give you some tips and advice on things you should know before traveling to none other than St. Thomas. I will be including timestamps. That way you guys can skip forward if you want to check out specific parts. But I definitely encourage you to watch the whole video just so you can get an overall experience of what to expect when traveling to St. Thomas. So let's get started.
The hood gon' be? I don't need no plug on this beat.
So to start, we will be talking about COVID precautions and restrictions. So as you guys know, we are living through a pandemic. As much as people like to think we aren't anymore, we definitely are. Many people are still contracting the virus across the country, and St. Thomas is doing their best to protect their citizens. So if you are traveling to St. Thomas, they do require you get a COVID test within 5 days of travel, regardless of your vaccination status. So the last day you can submit the COVID testing, a negative COVID test, is the day before you travel. If you are a U.S. citizen, even though Virgin Islands is a U.S. territory, you still will need to submit a negative COVID test. Once you submit the negative COVID test, they will send you back an approval after a certain period of time. For me, it took about an hour. For certain people, it may take 15 minutes. They always do warn you if you haven't heard back, at least within the 24 hours before you're traveling, definitely email them and reach out to them. But the submission does come back fast. I advise you to take a screenshot of that green code. It's like a green scan code. That will be the code that you will need to show to the people once you get there. They will scan the code and they will also do a temperature check just to make sure everything is okay. I advise you to screenshot that code because sometimes their service may be a little bit off once you first touch down. Another thing about COVID within St. Thomas, they are very, very strict when it comes to wearing masks. If you're going up to pay, if you're in line, you will need to wear your mask. Especially in certain excursions, like we went on a catamaran, you will need to have your mask. So carry one at all times. So let's talk about group size. So for our group, we had about 13 people total, including myself. And that was very, very hard to manage when it came down to getting food at restaurants. We actually had a great taxi driver, which I'll touch on a little bit later. Just doing certain things, managing our time became really hard, especially with a group of 13. When it came to food, sometimes we were waiting for 2 hours. St. Thomas is an island, so a lot of times people on islands move very, very slow. And that was the case. I personally would never go back to St. Thomas with a group of 13. I would recommend if you are interested in going on a vacation, or if you're going with like a best friend, or even just like a group of 4, 5 people max. But anything over 5, I just think is a bit too much when it comes to St. Thomas. Even when we were searching up houses at first, it was really, really hard to find an Airbnb to encompass 13 people. A lot of the Airbnbs go up to like 10, 11. There are still a couple that have more spaces, but sometimes they're a little bit more pricey. So just keep that in mind. I would suggest vacation or like a friendcation of like 2 to about 4 people, max being 5. So next, some of you may ask, should I stay within an Airbnb or a hotel? And honestly, that choice is up to you. When we went there, we stayed within an Airbnb. The Airbnb is actually called Asta Cruise Villas. I will leave the link down in the description box. It was located within Haven Site, St. Thomas, and the villa was absolutely beautiful. When we booked it, we thought it was gonna be one big house, but it actually ended up being 2 split houses, and it worked out perfectly for us. The only thing I wish it had was a pool. Check out the St. Thomas vlog if you are interested in seeing it. If it had a pool, it would have been perfect. But nonetheless, the villa was great. We also had the manager. He would help us out a lot. He was very, very nice. If you would like to stay there, I will put the link down in the description box so you guys can check it out. But it was a beautiful, beautiful Airbnb. The lady who was actually handling the Airbnb was always quick to answer my cousin, whether it was about what to do in St. Thomas or just questions regarding the villa. I think hotels are great though, because you can have an all-inclusive hotel. You can have the pool side, you can have the drinks, the food. When it came to the Airbnb, most times we would have to go out, get food. So it just depends on the type of experience you want. Next is taxi versus renting a car. So this is actually a big thing. Sometimes people are not sure. I personally would recommend you take a taxi, although renting a car would probably be better for your pockets. St. Thomas is a place that has lots of hills. It has lots of hills and barely any street signs, so it's hard to get around if you're not a local. Regarding the hills, if you are renting your own car, I would say you need to be an experienced driver when it comes to driving up and down hills. If we were supposed to rent a car, I don't think we would have made it through even those like 5 days we would have been there. We would have had to start calling a cab. In terms of a taxi, we were actually provided with a taxi service by the manager of the Airbnb. The guy's name is Champion. He was so nice and he was so sweet the whole time we was there. If you guys would like his contact, I'm not gonna put it on here, but if you want to DM me on Instagram, I can give you the card for when you go to St. Thomas. He was always accessible, and if he wasn't available at a certain time, he would give the person another contact for a taxi. But for us, we had him for the whole experience. He was our driver for the whole experience. Normally, taxi cabs range from about $5 to $10. And the thing about taxi cabs within St. Thomas, they charge per person instead of a total price for a set location. So that was the only thing that we didn't like, because we started to feel like all of our money was going towards taxi. If you are experienced in terms of driving on hills, I would recommend renting a car. But if you're not that experienced, especially because there aren't really any street signs, just take the cabs. So next, I want to do some food suggestions. So there were a couple of spots within St. Thomas that we loved their food. Over the first 2 days, we were having a little bit of a hard time, but I'll touch on that in a couple of minutes. I want to start with the good parts. So some of our favorite places that we tried within St. Thomas was Sunset Grill. Sunset Grill is more of a high-end fancy restaurant. We were there celebrating my cousin's birthday, so we wanted to make sure that she had a great time. It is fancier, so it was a little bit more upscale in the way you dress and the food that they served, as well as the pricing of the food. Food was great though, and the vibe of the restaurant was just nice. It was very close to the ocean, so you can see the ocean view. We went closer to nighttime, but I would suggest eating in the afternoon or relatively 5, so you can start to see the sunset, because I know it would be absolutely beautiful. The next place that we went to that we really loved was Agave. Agave is a restaurant located within Red Hook. Red Hook is an area, they have lots of restaurants, so if you're a little bit undecided on what to eat in the island, I would suggest driving out to Red Hook, and you can choose from an array of restaurants out there. But Agave was a Mexican grill restaurant, and they had great food. That was probably one of the first days we had amazing food. My cousin loved it. They had great drinks. What did I have? I forgot what I have, but I think it's located within the blog, so you guys can check that out. But they had a great menu. You can also look up their menu above. The pricing was great, and they also did a little churro celebration because it was my cousin's birthday as well. One of my favorite places within St. Thomas was Barefoot Buddha. So throughout the whole time within St. Thomas, a lot of the times we were eating junk food, and it was really, really heavy on our stomach and just our overall energy. So Barefoot Buddha, I actually found through some research, and they have smoothies and a little bit more of a healthier style eating. So if you are looking to get a little bit more energized, or take a break off chicken and fries and rice, take a trip to Barefoot Buddha. It is located within Haven Site, St. Thomas, and the smoothies were probably everyone's favorite part. We also went to Tap and Grill. Tap and Grill is actually located within the Red Hook area as well. Tap and Grill had more of American style eating, so like fries, sandwiches, burgers. Although it was kind of like the junk food we were avoiding, their food was really, really good if you are looking, to touch on a little bit of the American food. I would say that even though St. Thomas is an island, unlike places like maybe Barbados or Jamaica, their island food, it still felt kind of like Americanized. So go with that with what you may. Another place we went was Virgin's Haven. Virgin's Haven isn't actually like a food place. It's more of like a chill lounge. We went there after we came back from Sunset Grill one night, and there's just like a great place to lounge if you're there with your bae or you're there with your friends. They bring out Domino's. Virgin's Haven actually had the best rum punch we had within the time of St. Thomas. The one place I would suggest you not even waste your money on is the Smokin' Rooster. So if you already watched my vlog, you already know how our experience went when it came to this restaurant, but I'm going to tell you guys if you guys haven't watched it. So again, it was a large group of us. It's 13 of us. We ended up going to the Smokin' Rooster because it was close to our Airbnb, and we were really hungry because we had just came off of our flight. So we went there and are ready to come in. The lady who owned the restaurant was a little bit rude when it came to seating us. When it came to ordering our food, she definitely took about 20 minutes just to take our order, even though we kept telling her we were ready to order. So that was another thing. Then when it came to making our food, again, how I told you with large groups, it takes forever to make our food. We sat there for almost an hour and a half probably for them to make our food, probably closer to the 2-hour mark. And then by the time we got our food, a lot of us did not like the food that came. Honestly, we should have left. I don't know why we stayed, because if you're already feeling negative energy from a restaurant, it's best to just get out because you don't know what they're gonna do to your food. But I didn't like my food. My French fries did not have any salt or like any type of seasoning on it. The chicken was barely seasoned, and I got a sandwich, but it seemed like it looked like pulled pork or pulled chicken. So I don't know, things probably was just cooked a little bit different than how it would be in the US, obviously, but it was just a no. It was a no overall. The servers were rude, and I just would highly not recommend it. 0 out of 10. -1 out of 10. Don't go there, please. So next, if you are staying in an Airbnb or even a hotel and you just want some groceries, there are about 2 grocery stores. There is Pueblo's, so we actually went there because it was down the street from our Airbnb, but a local actually told us that Pueblo's is the supermarket that is a little bit more expensive, so she suggested that we go to Moe's or check in the gas station that was across the street from Pueblo's. Moe's definitely had some cheaper options, and then if you are looking to get like alcohol or anything of that sort, you can go in the gas station, or even if you want some snacks, you can go in the gas station to get things, and it is a little bit cheaper. We also got told by a local that they don't sell alcohol on Sundays. We didn't try this out, like we didn't go to a gas station to get alcohol on a Sunday, so I'm not sure if it's true, but just keep that in the back of your head. I have a couple of last words and tips. If you are going to St. Thomas, because it is a US territory, you can use US dollars. In terms of phone service, they do have T-Mobile out there, so if you do have Sprint or T-Mobile, I know Sprint combined with T-Mobile, so you will be able to use your phone out there. During our time preparing to go to St. Thomas, my cousin and I did lots of research, extensive research on things that we wanted to do, but we weren't able to do everything, although we did make an itinerary. So if you guys are traveling to St. Thomas and want a preview of what our itinerary looked like, you can also DM me on Instagram and I can send you a screenshot. We weren't able to do a lot of the local places that we wanted to visit, such as the 99 Steps and Frenchtown. But if you guys get the chance and have more time than we did to experience these, I would definitely recommend going to see some of the more local things within the town. During our time within St. Thomas, we actually did Water Island. So Water Island is about $10 round trip to go visit their island, and it's a beach. The beach was so nice. It kind of reminded me of a private island because not as much people were there when we went. So if you're looking for a little bit more exclusive area, you can go there. They also had paddle boarding out there as well if you want to have another fun activity. We also did a catamaran boat tour, which included snorkeling and unlimited drinks. So once you finish the snorkeling, you'll be able to come back on the boat and then start drinking. That was definitely a fun experience going under the water. We didn't see any turtles, but we definitely saw stingray and other types of fish that live undersea. I highly recommend doing your own research and making an itinerary, especially based off the number of people within your group. If you're just going with like your bae or one friend, you may be a little bit more spontaneous because you know that's only 2 people to account for. But the bigger the group, you should plan an itinerary. That way everybody can stay together and be succinct on what is coming up the next day. It was so hard to get everyone in the taxi on time, to get everybody ready on time, to get everybody up at time. So just make an itinerary the bigger your group gets. Another thing you can do when you go to St. Thomas, a lot of people may take a day trip and go out to St. John's. That is an option. We didn't have time for that. We recommend it. A lot of people say they are great restaurants. If you actually stay out there tonight, you can go to some of the clubs as well that's out there. Last thing I want to say is if you are researching things you want to do on your trip, definitely use Google Maps to time out how far some of these things are from your Airbnb or hotel. I think that's what tripped us out a lot. We kind of underestimated how far some of the things were, and that's why we had an overpacked itinerary and didn't get to do everything that we wanted to do. So take that into account. Also, just note that COVID precautions and restrictions are changing all the time. This was my experience, but as the year goes on, some of these restrictions may tighten or loosen. So always check on the U.S. Virgin Islands portal for any updates. And with that, this is the end of the video. Go check out my St. Thomas video if you haven't already. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And have a great time if you are choosing to visit St. Thomas. If you guys have any other questions regarding St. Thomas, you can put them down in the comments below, or you can DM me on Instagram if you would like the taxi driver's contact or the itinerary that my cousin and I created when we traveled. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.